What's good, YouTube? Quasar here. Today I'm going to be bringing you guys my Dino Rabbit Pendulum deck. So let's jump right into it. First, I play 3 copies of Dragoons of Draconia. All the monsters in this deck except one are vanilla, and a lot of them are also pendulums. Now that pendulums are out, vanilla pendulums are actually really strong. This deck's really consistent. It can bring out fusion, synchros, and XZs monsters. So Dragoons of Draconia, your main level 4, you want to see this card often. Pendulum of scale of 2, and if a normal monster destroys another opponent's monster by battle, you get to add a level 4 or higher normal monster from deck to hand. So this helps keep your hand replenished with all sorts of really good, really strong normal monsters. 2 copies of Sea Dragoons. Sea Dragoons, scale 7, level 3 vanilla. Pendulum scale, if again a normal monster destroys an opponent's monster, you get to special summon a normal monster from your hand. So like essentially if you have these 2 in the scales, you get to add it and then basically just special summon it, and then since it's still the battle phase, you can then just keep attacking and like combos like that. Just basic, simple, but very powerful. I also play 2 copies of Sky Dragoons, because Sky Dragoons, again, really strong. Another scale 7, level 5, 2200 attack, which is also pretty good. It's decent when it's dropped because it can get around a lot of strong monsters as well. And again, with that pendulum effect where destroy an opponent's monster, you get to then destroy another card on the field. So this Dragoons engine is really strong, adds a lot of really good consistency. 3 copies of Dragon Horn Hunter, level 6, scale 3, 2300 beater, so really good. Normal monsters all gain 200 attack, and also you take no battle damage involving battles with normal monsters. So if your opponent does have a monster that's stronger, gets over it, you still don't take any damage. So that's really good. And then 3 copy of this guy. I honestly don't know how to pronounce his name. Sorry about that, but really strong dinosaur, level 6, scale 7, and pendulum scale. Basically, you just inflict piercing battle damage. Him at 2500 attacks, really strong too. So again, a really strong pendulum engine that we have going on right here. So that finishes off the pendulums of the deck. Moving on to just your basic normals. We have 3 copies of Sabersaurus, your rescue rabbit targets, we should say. So 1900 beater, level 4, basically just to go into your rank 4s. Same with Cabazools. Again, 1700, so still pretty strong, level 4 again, just another target for your rescue rabbit. And I'm also playing 2 copies of Flamvel Guard, your only tuner, so access to a plethora of many different synchros. Level 1, so like you can go into 5, 7s, 9s, lot of different options we have just by playing, your 2 copies of Flamvel. And my last monster of the deck is going to be Rescue Rabbit, the only effect monster of the deck, but the effect revolves around normal monsters. So unfortunately, Rescue Rabbit's only at 1, but Still really good effect. If it goes off, you can do a whole bunch of really good combos. So that's it for my monsters. Moving on to the spell cards. 3 Heart of the Underdog. It's a normal monster deck. You have to play this at 3. You just generate so much advantage off of this card. It's ridiculous. It's amazing. I love this card in the deck. Any normal base deck, you have to play this card at 3. No questions asked. Since we're playing the Dino Rabbit engine, I felt that Fossil Dig was the best card for searching out your combo pieces. So there are, like, I was think 11 targets you can go for. Oh, okay, 9, but still, yeah, this card gets you your combo pieces that you need. Just search out whatever you need, add it to hand. You can pendulum summon it, you can normal summon it. Just this card just gets you to the cards that you need faster. 2 copies of Dark Factory. This card's also really good for after you've used up your normal monsters as like Xyz materials, for example. You can just return them to your hand and continue to loop your combos. 1 copy of Fusion Substitute. I'm playing this over just regular polymerization because if it's in the graveyard, if you do somehow end up losing your fusion monster, you can always just banish this card, put that fusion monster back into the extra deck, and then draw a card. So I felt that was just a little bit better than just using a regular polymerization. 3 copies of Wavering Eyes. If you're not facing off a pendulum deck, you can still use it to search out your other pendulum monsters, but this card's actually so good if you're facing off against another pendulum deck. So you usually get off all 4. Like if your opponent sets the scales, you would have this face down. That's when you want to activate Wavering Eyes to get all 4 effects off and completely obliterate your opponent there. 1 copy of Regeki just to nuke boards. And for my last 3 spells, I'm just playing 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon. And for traps, the only traps I play are 3 copies of Tyrant's Throws. Card just stops pretty much every single other deck out there because you're only allowed to summon normal monsters, and pretty much every other deck is just using monsters with effects, so it shuts down every other deck and they just can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! So that's it for the main deck. Moving on to extra. First of the Dragons. This card is so good at just like holding down all sorts of different kind of decks that you're gonna come across, because like everyone's playing effect monsters. Effect monsters, they do all this stuff, but with this strong pendulum engine along with all the normal monster support that's out there, this card is just so good, and it's so good not to just, you just have to play it. So, moving on to the Synchros, that was the only fusion. Black Rose Moonlight. A level 7 basically stops your opponent from summoning level 5 and higher monsters. Black Rose, usually just to nuke the field. 1 copy of Clearwing. Clearwing is really good. It can do 2 negations, can pump itself up. It can stop a lot of different things. So a really good level 7 right there. I'm playing 1 copy of Scarlight. Scarlight's really good for just wiping out boards. And then one copy of Omega. Omega, another really good generic level 8. Mostly you just want to use it to get rid of cards in your opponent's hand. Just banish it. Banish another card in your opponent's hand. If this is in grave, you get to target another card, shuffle it back into the deck, shuffle Omega back in so it recycles. And you can even return banished cards. So a lot of nifty combos off of Omega. Level 9's Trish. Trish, now that it's back, just completely dominates. It just banish one from hand, on field, engraved. Like, when you drop this guy, it's usually game because you're just eliminating all of your opponent's resources. And I play level 11, so Star Eater. Star Eater is really good. 32 beater as well. During the battle phase, your opponent can't activate anything, so it'll basically run over anything that's in its path. And now on to XZs. Gagaga just for burn. Castel, usually just detach 2 to return a card. Silent Honor, another really good staple, rank 4, just to steal problematic monsters. One copy of Daigusto Emerald. So this is probably your MVP of the deck right here. You can actually use the effect, since you're playing normal monsters, to just special summon them from the grave. You can literally, if you have the 2 normal monsters as XYZ materials, you just detach it and then special summon that monster you just detached. Now, since we're playing the Dino Rabbit engine, we have the evils. So we have one copy of Dolka, one Logia. They're still extremely strong. Even in today's meta, these cards can just hold down your opponent for like a turn or two and allow you to continue to make your plays, shut down your opponent's plays. And the last XZs is one copy of Solda, so the only way you can get into him is the 2 level 6 Pendulum dinosaurs that I play. But honestly, it is fairly easy to drop them, and then your opponent basically can't summon, so it's really good dropping Solda early. I've had it where you have all 3 of these guys on board and your opponent just basically quits because they literally just can't play after that. So there you have it, guys. That was my Dino Rabbit normal Pendulum deck. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
You